John Barleycorn and the Wicker Man. This is a continuation of the video that you saw a couple of days ago of Lughnasadh and Lionsgate Way in this wonderful period in time that we're in. And I got asked a wonderful question about from a dear soul about John Barleycorn and the ceremony of the Wicker Man. And when was that? What was that about? And traditionally, I would celebrate the rites of John Barleycorn for Lughnasadh. So, for anyone who's in the pagan or druidic circle, it is around that time that you would celebrate. So, the idea of having a Wicker Man is to offer back to the earth, but it's also representative, right? It represents, obviously, it's a effigy, right? And it represents the death of John Barleycorn to be reborn. So as the song goes, horned one lover's son, a leaper in the corn, deep in the mother, die and be reborn. Because after we have the solstice and we go into the harvest, it's the time that the Sun King, he dies. This is the cyclical nature of Earth. We go into the feminine time. So we go from a masculine time into the feminine time. We're going to go into the autumn. We're going to go into the winter, right? Very yin time. So what happens is John Barleycorn, he goes and perishes, essentially. He perishes into the earth and he becomes the fertilizer for all the new crops. So when everything starts to settle down and everything starts to slow down, and winter starts to arrive, and we go into the womb of the mother. Before that first light of Imbolc in February, before we get to the spring, and that seed of man rebirths, well, it is time for John Barleycorn to retire. And so that's what the ritual usually is all about. Whenever I used to enjoy that sacred ceremony, the men would build the actual physical body of John Barleycorn as a Wicker Man. It's not like the film, thankfully. There's no live sacrifices that go in it. Edward Woodward didn't star. And the maidens would build the lingam. And when we would build it, there would always be a very fun kind of tradition where we would have to build the lingam to be as tall as the shortest maiden. So the women would build the phallus, and the men would build the actual body structure. And throughout this space and time, it, of course, be a wonderful festival of celebration of Earth, and thanks to Earth and to the physicality here. And sometimes we'd put fruit inside our offering, and there'd be this wonderful, very, very wonderful ceremony which would occur, which would literally be the rebirthing of John Barleycorn. So when the Wicker Man would go up and when it would be set alight, afterwards there would be a young child, a young baby boy, who after the Wicker Man would burn, he would be reborn, and it would symbolize this whole process, this whole nature of Lughnasadh, this nature of Earth's cycle. And it was always very wonderful to participate in those sacred ceremonies, because I was asked whether that happens here in England. It's kind of sometimes if you're not from here, you wonder, do those things actually happen? And well, they do if you are in those circles and spaces, of course. But yes, the Lughnasadh has always been one of my favorite holidays, and I usually always travel around Lughnasadh. As of course, when this video goes out, I'll be in China. traveling. And last year I was camping. I spent Lughnasadh camping, and I was Avebury and Stonehenge and doing all the rituals with the Druids and honoring of Earth. But this is the really beautiful thing that we sometimes forget, is that we can look so much to the stars and the angelics and the non-physical realms that we forget why we're here. And it's those little moments of community and connection and honoring of the planet, the sacred Earth star that we're on, that actually can bring you into such a state of alignment and such a state of presence and oneness and joy, because we are in the flow of the earthly mother from which we are formed. So I hope that this has been interesting for you. I know it was when I shared this the first time. But yeah, the John Barleycorn rite is a very lovely one. I'm sure you can find some nice videos on YouTube. Of course, stay clear of any Hollywood versions. You don't need to watch those films. They're a bit extreme, but I'm sure there'll be some wonderful videos on YouTube and places like that for pagan ceremonies and druidic ceremonies and things like that. But for now, I send you all so much love, so many blessings, and I will see you all soon. Happy Lughnasadh, happy Lionsgate Way, and happy rebirth of John Barleycorn.